Hey, what's going on, guys? Bot Mentality here with another Bitcoin chart analysis for you. And today is September 5th of 2018. And wow, guys, have we seen some incredible momentum today here to the downside. If you watched yesterday's video, I warned right before we saw this breakdown, I warned that if you're playing a game of musical chairs, you don't want to be the one who's stuck without a chair when the music stops. And today, guys, the music finally stopped. If you look here on the 30-minute, we saw multiple wicks up to that $7,400 level, which is what I talked about yesterday. We finally broke down. You can see that in a 30-minute period. Really, honestly, if you jump to the 15-minute, in a 15-minute period, we had a high of $7,376, a low of $7,100. So we cleared, 200 some dollars on that move. A small consolidation here. We dumped down under the 7,000. We gave it up very, very quickly. And this is why I recommended yesterday. I don't recommend you buying at those levels. And if you were already long into these higher low patterns here we saw on the 4-hour, to go ahead and set a trailing stop. I did say that in yesterday's video, and this is why, guys. Because the fact that we were so overextended on the daily time frame, on the hourly time frame, we were due for a pullback. Now, I did not expect this to happen this quickly. I thought, if anything, we might break down, chop around for a little bit, see another leg down, chop around. But this how quickly we dove off the cliff here essentially is very impressive, okay? And the reason for that is because of the Goldman Sachs news that came out, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. But I want to kind of talk about today what my focus is, as I'm only trading long here in these markets currently, because I don't have the functionality to short there on Coinbase, and what my focus is, and what my plan is here, and what I'm looking for coming up, and what the red flags are here for the next couple hours, guys, because this is a crucial point for Bitcoin to prove itself making a higher low. Otherwise, we're going to fall right back into that depressing lower high daily trend. So the very first thing I want to point out for you guys is here on the daily chart. If you remember, I said for honestly probably a week now I've been talking about this, how the fact that if you draw the fibs from the to mark the downtrend, right? You draw the fibs to mark the downtrend from the top to the bottom there, you'll see that the 68.1 fib level is right there at that 9,800, 10,000 highs, right? And if we just move this over here, move it right on over, and we draw it here on this downtrend, you'll see that again we landed right there on the 61.8 level. All right, and so now we're having a pattern forming here. So if we zoom in, we do the same thing and we draw this again, and this is exactly what I was warning about, guys. If we draw this pattern again, you'll see again, guys, we didn't even make it to the 61.8 level. On my Twitter, I showed multiple reasons, and I think it was 2 videos ago, so 2 days ago, I gave 6 different reasons as to why I saw this momentum, it leading up to a bearish break. And one of the reasons was the fact that first, the 7,500 psychological resistance level, that $1.5 mark. Second, also because the 61.8 fib level, okay? We didn't even make it there, and we saw this rejection. Now, we were certainly overbought. We were due for this move, but what helped this occur was also the Goldman Sachs news. So if you don't know what that is, essentially they announced that they're not going to be opening a cryptocurrency desk, a trading desk at their firm. So that is very negative news for the big picture aspect of crypto. When you're looking for, a high adoption, integration, institutional investments, that's what we were looking for to see, and they actually said we're not going to do that anymore. So that's what caused this negative news, and or this increased bearish momentum in addition to being overbought. So what am I looking at right now, and how do I plan to be trading this for the hours coming up? Okay, the first thing I want to point out is in yesterday's video I talked about my focus support levels on Bitcoin. And one of the reasons why, if you look at the $6,800 level, you'll see where that lands. We have 2 pivot highs here and a pivot low touching there. And you'll see if we go to the 15-minute, we're seeing a little bit of consolidation over that level. That level is essentially my line in the sand. I'm looking for the daily higher low or the weekly higher low on Bitcoin to be set around this level. So I'm looking to see, maybe we might see some inside bars, consolidation, and then a slow curl back up to the highs. That is the bullish perspective. Now, technically, we could retrace further. We could retrace below the 6,800 and make a higher low over 6,500, which is I'm totally fine with, but I'm not going to hold that long, okay? I set a ton of orders on as I went to sleep, just in case we saw something like this occur. I started there at the $7,150 level and then scaled all the way down here to my lowest fill was the $6,950 level, with the average being around 770.75. So I'm sitting here above, and we rejected the essentially rejected the 7,070 level, pulled back. If you drop this to 7,000, you'll see we also failed that as well. We might curl and reject. So my max risk is essentially the 6,800, and looking for this to form that pattern and curl back up. You know, I'm not going to be adding any more to my position right now. I'm just being cautious and just watching this pattern play out. The one thing that I'll tell you I did not anticipate was that the bearish news of Goldman Sachs announced that they weren't going to be continuing with their program for the cryptocurrency trading desk. I don't think any of us anticipated that to happen. So when this fundamental news comes out and it brings that announcement, you need to make sure you're taking that into account with your technical analysis. So yes, you know, we do have support there on the 6,800 level, but you also need to keep in mind that that is a bearish sign, that is significant, and that's going to worry people. So make sure you respect your risk. You know, I do have my risk. I'm watching that 6,800. Respect your risk for the trade. If it goes against you, just go ahead and take it off, guys. There's always going to be more opportunity in the future in order to make it back. But what you can't do is sit there and just hold bags, you know, and let the loss build up into something crazy, to something you couldn't recover from. Or, you know, it might not build up that large. You might just miss other opportunities to make it back on the flip side, right? So make sure you're always keeping in mind your the risk to reward there. You'll see here on the hourly chart here on Bitcoin, we are sitting below the 30. We are oversold. However, it hasn't made much of a difference yet. We need to see some recovery. We need to see us reclaim the 7,000 level and not reject it again and head to lower lows, right? On the hourly time frame. You know, on the 4 hour, even on the 4 hour, sitting here at the 31. At 31 on the RSI level. So we are technically oversold here. However, you know, you need to make sure you keep this previous pivot low here intact on the 6,800. That's my max loss. That's where I'm expecting us to consolidate and see a curl back over that 7,000 level. That's my trade idea anyway. If you look here on the daily chart, you'll see that we've pulled back right to this level. If you draw the fibs on the uptrend that we had, we draw this up right here from the low there to the high. All right, what you're going to see here is a 6,800 level is going to land right there on that 38.2. Okay, that kind of lines up with that as well, and that is something some people are watching. And if you look at the previous downtrend, I'll draw that for you guys. That previous downtrend all the way to the lows, you'll see that the 38.2 lines up with the 6,800. So there's different ways you can look at this. If you're looking at the previous downtrend for some support, or you just want to look at the pivot highs, the 6,800 is the focus area. We've seen so much support and so much resistance at that level that is going to be the focus for this pullback. See if we can't curl above that. Now, regarding the Bitfinex short and longs, let's jump over that to kind of break down this break down this dump that we saw and where the volume is coming from. So right now, if you go over to the longs, you'll see that essentially for the entire day, they've been dumping. They've been taking their positions off. So the longs aren't buying here. If we zoom out a little bit here on the hourly, you can see how significant this has been just over the past 6 hours, 7 hours or so. Longs have been taking off their positions and exiting the market. If you look over at the shorts, okay, you see the shorts have been accumulating. So the shorts are hammering, selling, and the longs are also selling as well. And that's what's creating such strong selling pressure and what's driving the price down. So the question is, will the 6,800 or 6,900 be able to hold, and we'll slowly be able to curl back up and maybe put some pressure on the shorts? Or are the shorts going to go to higher highs, or return back to towards that 40,000 open short interest level here? That's the question, guys. And I will say I would have a lot more confidence in the curl if that Goldman Sachs news didn't come out, because whenever we see FUD like that, it can disrupt things in the market and kind of bring fear into the market right when we were having such a strong bullish uptrend. So you need to keep that in mind. Make sure you have your max loss in mind, and just let the trade play out. That's what I can give you guys. That's what I'd say for right now. And that's it. I'm just going to continue watching this. I have some alerts set. Keep a close eye here on that $7,000 level. That 7,000 is a really big key psychological point that a lot of people are going to be focused on. We definitely need to reclaim that before we head to higher highs. So this is why my main point from this video, guys, is you need to be careful. Don't chase overextension. Make sure you always lose stop losses, and just be smart about it. Make sure you always protect yourself. It's okay to be wrong, but it is not okay to be, big wrong and essentially lose all your money. Or it's not okay to violate your trade plan and, hold longer than you should have, or buy where you didn't plan to. Make sure you always keep things, make sure you keep your risk contained at all times. And that's pretty much what I got, for today, guys. If you have any questions, you can shoot me, an email. You can comment below, message me on Twitter if you want to talk about, the current Bitcoin price action anyway there. If you'd like to join my daily newsletter, you can find information for that on my Patreon. I also have a private Discord where we are discussing this momentum as it happens, guys. And we have different positions and making sure we work together to make the most money we can out of the market and definitely limit our risk as much as we can as well. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and if you'd like to join my mentorship program, I have information about that on my Patreon. If you need more in-depth coaching on how to handle certain situations like this, or really if you don't understand any of this, I can go over and teach you the basics so we can talk a little bit about that. For however much help you need is what I can help you with, essentially. And that's it. So I'm real excited to see how Bitcoin proves here. If we're able to consolidate and curl back up to the 7,500, that would definitely be a very bullish sign. I'd be very pleased with that. And then if we do that, we might have potential to break out and break out of this lower high pattern and see continuation later on through October to the upside. So that's it, guys. I am out of here finally. And remember, guys, continue to learn to control your emotions, to develop that bot mentality, and always, always, always trade like a machine, guys. I am out of here. You have a great rest of your day. Deuces.